Welcome back. Today I'm gonna be working on my 2015 Ford Focus. I'm gonna be changing out the front brakes. Already got it in the air, so let's get started. All right, so first thing you wanna do is remove your wheel. And also I recommend y'all use that as another type of jack stand. Throw it under your car. So your next step you want to do is loosen up this bleeder screw back here. For this one, it's going to be a 9mm. So you can go ahead and crack this one open. Just crack it open. You don't need to open it all the way. It'll be good. I attached a little hose just to catch all the brake fluid, and also kind of prevents you from catching air at the same time. So your next step, what you want to do is pry in between your piston, caliper piston, your brake pad. What you don't want to do is pry in between the rotor and brake pad unless you're going to be replacing them, because or else you'll damage it. I'm going to be machining mine, so I won't be doing that. So you just want to pry a little bit, just enough to, free your caliper. So that was enough. Like I said, just a little bit, and then we'll go from there. So next, what you want to do is remove your caliper here. So you're gonna have the caps where your bolts go in. So you remove one. You're gonna have one in the bottom as well. Remove that one. So two. Put them off to the side. Then from there, it's gonna be a 7mm Allen socket. So put that on there. Break it loose. Whoopsie. There's one. Bottom one. So next, you want to take off this retaining clip here, and that'll free your brake caliper. Bang. I grab a hook so I can hang my caliper off my strut here. That's that. Remove your brake pad off the piston. Get on from there. Bam. Old brake pad, old brake pad. They weren't all the way worn, but they were getting close, so I just wanted to do some preventative maintenance. So next, to take off that caliper bracket, you have two 18mm bolts in the back. Go ahead and remove those. They're gonna be a little hard. Just I recommend a longer ratchet, kind of like this one here. It gives you better leverage. And then, of course, if you have an electrical tool, after you break them free, just grab that and that'll be a great help. And now, goes the caliper bracket. And your two 18mm. So after that, your rotors should be all free, ready to go. Wiggle it out. Sometimes they get stuck with the rust, and ready to go get machined. So you're just gonna do the same thing that you did to the driver's side to the passenger side. Now the next thing you want to do after you sand off your rotors to get machined, you want to grab this tool right here to push your caliper piston back all the way now, because it won't fit. It's used to the old brake pads. As you can see, they're very thin, so the new brake pads are going to be extremely thick compared to this. So you just throw your old brake pads. This is the way I like to do it. Throw your old brake pads in there, hold on to them, put your little tool in there. And I'm pretty sure they have this at AutoZone. If you don't want to buy one, you could probably rent it out, AutoZone or O'Reilly's. Just turn it over, and again, you still have your caliper bleeder screw open. Make sure you push the fluid out and not back into your reservoir. That's really bad for you. If you have ABS, you could damage your ABS system. So just pushes it back, makes it a lot easier as well. Make sure you're catching all your fluid. Cup here. Once you pushed your piston all the way back, go back to your bleeder screw and tighten it back up, close it off. Move your hose. I'll show you right now what it looks like when your piston is all the way pushed back. And also in these, there are different types. Mine is a hand threaded one to push it back. Some are, you could pump like a little gun mechanism. So this is what your piston looks like once it's all the way pushed back. So your next step, you grab your rotor, freshly from the shop, machined. What I recommend is you grab some brake cleaner. Even though they say they clean it, I always find, some dirty spots on it. You want to clean the back, because once you throw it on, you can clean the front. So clean the back off first. Once you're done with the back, throw it on. Once on, you could just spray the front. Boom. Now once you grab your rotor on, you want to go and grab your caliper bracket back, throw that back on. And if you're having trouble, catching onto the hole or anything on the caliper bracket, you could put the bolt in first, kind of look at it, pull it back a little bit, as I am, and then start the threads. You always want to start the threads on the bolt. Make sure you're not cross-threading it. Then grab your ratchet, if you have an electrical one or a hand one. I luckily have an electrical one. Go ahead and tighten. And you want to make sure these are tightened really well, because they are holding your brake caliper in place. All right, nice and tight. Now the next thing you want to do is you're gonna grab your brake pads and do the same thing you did to your rotors, because they are coming straight from the factory and whatnot, so you don't know exactly what's in there when they made the product. So also be careful not to touch the frictional material. You'll grab it from the back. These have a little clip that they go into in the brake caliper piston, so it's easier. Also, you want to be wearing gloves when you do this. It's probably not good for it to go on your hands. These I'm going to be grabbing from the side here where they clip on. Nice and clean. And you're going to grab your caliper now with my little hook here. I'm going to insert the one with the clips. Some will give you a little trouble. There we go. Then I'll grab my other one, slide it into the little clips there, and insert. Next, some of you will have, like me, some bolt sliders. This is your slider part. Some it'll be a separate bolt, and in between your caliper bolts where they go in, and here there'll be a rubber piece just like this. You could pull back the slider. Don't pull it out all the way because sometimes it is hard to put back in. What you want to do is pull it out, wipe off the old grease, and then put some new grease on. For these, since they are bolt and sliders at the same time, I'm just gonna add a little bit of grease onto here, and I'm gonna clean it off first. And really important with these, you want to make sure you don't get the grease on the threads itself. It's just a little bit added onto here. I like using the red grease. Say it's a little bit better. Just go ahead and add a little bit there. And this is all just because you know, sometimes when you have brake noise and you just replace your brakes, sometimes this is the issue why they just you just didn't add brake grease to your sliders. That's one of them. Go ahead and put mine in, and again, I was careful not to get some on my threads. I'm gonna actually wipe some of this off down here just to be extra careful. Goes. Same thing with the other one. Clean it off. Get a little bit of grease. Just rub it in there. And in it goes as well. And again, with these, you want to do the same thing with as your caliper bracket bolts. Kind of just hand start them first. Make sure your thread's going in right. You don't want to cross thread anything. If you're unable to do it by hand, you can always grab your ratchet and just go really slow. Make sure it's not getting tight right off the bat. Typically, if you grab your ratchet off the top and not all the way at the bottom, you'll feel if it's getting a little bit tighter sooner. If you're going off the bottom where you'll have more leverage, you won't feel it getting tight. Once you know they are grabbing right, if you have your electrical tool, you should want to be really careful with these. These don't get tightened extremely hard. So if you have a power tool that tightens to a high torque, you want to go really easy, go slow, kind of measure out your power by the button. Mine allows me to, you know, not go so hard on how tight it is if I press the button not all the way down. So once you got those nice and snug, I recommend you at least put your hand ratchet on there. Make sure they are nice and tight, but these don't go extremely tight. Again, these just go, you know, tight enough to where you won't, you know, damage it. You're not over tightening it. Get this one in there. You don't want to put like your whole body weight. It's just make sure it's on. And you're all done with that part. You got your brakes in, and what you will realize, since you pushed your caliper piston all the way back, this part will be loose, but this is just because you need brake fluid from your brake fluid reservoir to come down to your brake caliper piston and tighten up again. And just like the removal part of it, you want to do the same to both sides. So I got my brake pads in there, and I'm about to start pushing my brake caliper back. Also, sorry, something I forgot to mention for the other side. You want to replace your hardware, that clip you removed in the beginning, this one right here. So, get that side on. Get this side on. And then if you need to use pliers, grab some pliers. I think I'll be able to get this one right here by hand. And it's on. And then you just want to be careful not to touch the rotor and get it dirty again. All right, off to the next step. Next step is to go into your car, turn it on. And I say to turn it on because now you'll have vacuum going to your brake booster, and your brake pedal won't go hard on you right off the bat. So give it a good pump. First time it's going to go all the way to the floor because you just emptied out those brake calipers. Pump it like 5 times, you'll feel it getting hard. So mine's pretty hard now. Now what you want to do is pop your hood. We go to your brake reservoir here and just top it off. So after you pump your brake pedal, you could actually turn off your vehicle, since you know you have your brake calipers full of fluid now. Everything went down. You don't need it on. I did it so you guys could hear me better in the video. So now you'll go to your brake fluid reservoir here. You'll pop this open. You have a little seal here, but first I want to show you on your brake caliper of your brake fluid reservoir, you'll have this cap and it'll tell you what exactly you'll need. So mine takes only .4 fluid. So I'll take this off. Pop this bad boy off here. This one, quick tip, if it is stuck to your cap here, I believe that means you have air in your system, or that it is dirty. So keep an eye out for that. Top it off, you have a max level here indicator. So I'm gonna top mine off to there, and we're all set. And for your final step, you always want to test drive your brakes. Make sure everything turned out good. I'm doing it on the driveway, not on the street yet. You know, it's just to play it safe. Something you always want to do. So here we go. Woo! Man, those are some good brakes. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you have any questions. Thank you. I'll see y'all next time.